Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hope tip. Grand rising. Praise God. What's up? What's happening? Or whatever it is that you ascribe to. I need y'all to ride with me for a few minutes. I'm on my way to the job site. So ride with me. And as you ride with me, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share, comment, do what you gotta do. And if you don't want to do it, it's cool. I appreciate the view. Today I'm gonna get a little deep, so it might take me. Y'all might have to ride with me for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna get a little deep with this one. I was gonna do it yesterday, and I really wanted to do it, in my studio. But it's heavy on my mind, so I said I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna go on and drop it. So I want to talk about Mr. Larry Hoover. BKA Boss, BKA King Larry. Now everybody familiar with Black Gangster Disciples, Growth and Development. I'm knowing everybody familiar with it. And for the young ones who really don't know what's going on, Larry Hoover from Jackson, Mississippi. He ended up moving to Chicago when he was young, and he was active in them streets, and he ended up linking with and some other guys, David Barksdale, what's the brother name that's over the Stones? I can't think of it right now, it'll come to me. But he ended up being a leader of a street gang, and he ended up going to prison in this street gang that he was over, or that he was the leader of, which was called Gangster Disciples. He tried to turn it to growth and development, and make it a positive, productive, and a political entity, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. And I mean, that was a smart move. That was really a good show of his character and his leadership abilities. You know what I mean? But being in prison, it's kind of hard to, especially if you're trying to be positive and productive. Now, if he was in prison and he was still trying to be a shot caller, because it's different between being a shot caller and a leader. And he was still trying to be active in the streets. I mean, it's kind of different from trying to be a positive leader but still be with the nonsense, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. You really can't be a positive leader from prison and trying to guide and lead people the right way. Like, your presence need to be felt. And even though his presence was felt, because he had his structure, he had what he wanted to do in black and white. And those are the philosophies, the concepts that he wanted his followers to abide by. He wanted to use that for guidance. But of course, like I said, his presence not felt on the streets. So, some people gravitated to it and picked up on the growth and development and really tried to be productive citizens in society. But the majority of us, we clinged on to the gangster side of things, continued to be in the streets, continued to, be negative and do what we were doing. So before I do a deep dive, I want to share a little history of where I'm from. I don't know about nobody else, but where I'm from, the gangsters or the disciples, like people, I don't know how it is now because I don't involve myself with it. But back then, growing up, like the guys I grew up under that represented for Mr. Larry, like it was real structured. And it got to a point where these guys, like they wouldn't even let you in at a certain age, and they wouldn't let you in if you wasn't going to school, you hadn't graduated, you weren't going to college, you didn't have a job. Like they wouldn't let you in. Like where I'm from back then, like people took that serious. And where I'm from was really plugged in with Chicago. A lot of places in Mississippi, they probably got plugged in over the years. But where I'm from, Hattiesburg and the surrounding areas, where I'm from was really plugged in. And you could tell who was the GDs back then because of how they moved, they structure. Like, even though you still had some knuckleheads that, felt like they could do what they want to do, but they ain't, they gonna get dealt with. But for the most part, these guys was real structured. These guys had real structure, real organized. And they really was trying to live these growth and development concepts once the memorandum came down. So you gotta understand, I'm from Mississippi. So a lot of times, especially back then, because you didn't have social media, the only thing you had was the radio and the TV and the word of mouth. So in Mississippi back then, we was real slow on certain things that happened in other places. So what I'm saying is, when the gangster organization came to Mississippi, it was still about gang banging, you know what I mean? Because we was behind on the growth and development. But like I said, in Hattiesburg, these guys really got plugged in with the guys from Chicago. So they started passing the memorandums down, coming down, visit, and organizing and really structuring the GDs in Hattiesburg. So the GDs in Hattiesburg took that same structure to the outskirts of Hattiesburg, which is where I'm from. And these guys were real organized, very intelligent. And again, you're gonna have your knuckleheads, but I need y'all to understand that it's a positive side and it's a negative side. And these concepts teach you this. It'll confuse you if you're not intelligent enough, or your brain is not developed enough to pick up what Mr. Larry was trying to put down. So even though some guys may have took it as, okay, we got these concepts is positive, these concepts is structural, and these concepts is teaching us, or trying to teach us how to be productive men and women in society. Even though we got that, but we also got the history of gangsterism and being who we are, being a human being, and especially being black in America and coming from where we come from. And then you got all this social engineering going on, trying to steer black men in a certain direction. Most of the followers of Mr. Larry, gravitated to the gangsterism. So what I'm trying to say is, you still had the drug selling, you still had the street codes, you know what I mean? Like, so it was like the philosophy that Mr. Larry was trying to put down and the guidance he was trying to put down, it was like, that's cool, but we doing this too. And again, it'll be kind of confusing because you reading the positivity, but you seeing the negativity. So I'm thinking, I can't speak for Mr. Larry, but it's just me, thinking and trying to be intelligent. I'm thinking Mr. Larry knew that what he started it spread so much, and he have knowledge of how our people think, and he knew like, people gonna be in these streets, and people gonna be, engaging in the drug dealing and the shooting and whatnot. So I'm thinking he was trying to, if not stop it, at least put some disciplinary actions with it, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. So if you go outside, so Mr. Larry created these laws and policies, and if you go outside these laws and policies, then it's gonna be some disciplinary action come behind it. So I'm thinking Mr. Larry like, okay, I know these young guys in these streets, I know these young guys got guns, I know these young guys, and they doing what they doing in these streets. So I'm gonna try to structure it in a way where we can be disciplined with it, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. So back home, these like where I'm from, like they took this real serious, and I can't speak for now. I mean, they still doing community work or whatnot, but I really can't speak to it because I'm not involved in it. I really don't know what's going on with it. But back then, like, where I'm from, it was real serious. Like, they really lived it, you know what I mean? So anyway, Donald Trump commuted Mr. Larry from the feds. Now I know a lot of people, when they first seen this, especially the GDs, they probably got happy and saying, big bro finna come home, boss finna come home, Mr. Larry finna come home, and I hope the brother get free, but Donald Trump commuting him from the feds, that does not mean he about to come home, because he still got state charges that he facing. He still got, even though the feds done, pretty much released him, he still got to go serve 200 years with the state, and the state might not commute him. I hope they do. I mean, I hope the brother get free, because the brother been locked up for a long time. I'm talking about a very long time. And so I hope they free him. But I need people to understand, because it's a certain mentality that our people have, especially coming from the streets. I need people to understand, like, this man is 75 years old. I might be wrong, it's just my opinion, but I think we fooling ourselves if we think this man is about to get out and try to govern a bunch of young, hard-headed dudes who don't listen to their parents, who don't listen to other leaders in the neighborhood, who don't listen to Minister Farrakhan, who don't listen to their teachers at their school. Like, I don't think this brother's about to come home and try to be who we think he is, or who he was before he went to prison, or who he was and doing the type of stuff that they said he was doing before he went to prison. Because a lot of us think, by him being the leader of the Gangsters Disciples, like, oh, he finna come home and he finna do this and he finna do that, he finna change this and he finna change that. I really don't think the brother finna be on that. I just don't. I don't see it. The brother's 75 years old, been gone for a long time. His mind have matured, and I mean, I just don't see him. Because if he come home, me knowing the history of America and how the government work, I'm 40 years old, I done seen a lot, I done done a lot, and I kind of understand how our government works and how they treat black people behind the scene. I understand how social engineering works. If this man come home and he claimed to be the leader of Gangsters Disciple, growth and development, whatever you want, however you want to put it, If he do that, they gonna send that man back to prison. If he get out and he come home and say he over, because it is nothing but chaos in these streets when it comes to GD. It's nothing but chaos, and that's gonna be like he really gonna be tricking himself if he do that. But now, I'm not saying that he can't get out and he can't make a change within our communities. I believe the brother have, by way of the creator of the universe, God, Jesus, or whatever you ascribe to, I believe he have enough influence to try to put that down. I believe he can make a positive change. But I just don't see it, because if he already got what he already put down on paper how he wanted his followers to be, and they didn't honor it, and you know, the organization or the gang, it continued to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, I don't think they gonna honor it if he try to do it when he come home. That's just my opinion. I don't see it, because I'm saying you got people like Minister Farrakhan. Like Minister Farrakhan, he is really changing the way some of our young men think. Our young men, he is really changing the way some of our young men and young women think. If you really just think about it, what other black organization you know, when a person off the streets join, and most of them come from gangsters, vice lords, Crips, Bloods, or whatever, and they change their whole character. Not saying that they still don't have flaws and whatnot, but the discipline that you see in young men who join the Nation of Islam, no other black organization is doing it. And you can go argue with your mama about that. No other black organization is doing that. They come in, they get clean shaved, they get off the drugs, they get off the alcohol, they get off the liquor, they change the way they eat, they change the way they think. It's a military structure. They change the way they dress. They out in the streets with the final call newspaper. I mean, no other black organization is doing it. And again, I'm not saying Mr. Larry can't get out and make a change and change change the trajectory of the way our youth is going. I'm not saying he can't do that, but I don't see him coming home and attaching his name to that, because them folk are gonna send him back to prison. So I just don't see it. But again, I hope they free the brother. And also, you know, people gotta understand that the government and these media outlets, these social medias, it's all about wordplay. Now the man ain't even at home yet, and they still attaching him to gangster disciples. I mean, that's giving out a negative connotation, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. The media play mean games when it comes to wordplay. Like that is real negative when you still like I said, the man ain't even at home and they still attaching his name to being the leader of the gangster disciples. You know what I mean? And we know these days and times what the gangster disciples are out here doing. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't cool at all, man. But again, I hope they let the brother free. The brother been gone for a long time. Those are just my thoughts on Mr. Larry Hoover. Now, I know some people who do reaction videos, you know, they be in their studio and they showing a picture of, you know what I mean, or who they reacting on. You know, I just didn't want to do all that. Even if I was in my studio, I didn't, you know, I don't think I need to do all that. But I'm not knocking those who do reaction videos. I'm not knocking you for what you doing. I just don't think I should be doing all that. But yeah, man, y'all like, subscribe, share, comment your thoughts about Mr. Larry Hoover coming home and how you think he's going to respond to being the leader of the Gangsters Disciples. And I want y'all to keep it in context, like, because you gotta, it's two sides to every story. It's a double coin. I want y'all to keep it in context. I want you to understand that some of these guys who represent Gangsters Disciples, they going against growth and development. And from my experience, most of the guys who are growth and development is getting away or have gotten away from being a Gangster Disciple. So I really want y'all to comment and share with me y'all thoughts on how y'all think Mr. Larry Hoover is going to respond to being the leader of Gangster Disciples. And I want y'all to think, and I'm gonna shut up in a minute, but I want y'all to think about something. These guys back then, Larry Hoover, David Barksdale, Jeff Fort, that's the leader of the Stones. And the guys who created Vice Lord, Four Corner Hustler, all these guys in Chicago who Booney Black, Shorty, all these guys in Chicago who was the heads of these organizations or gangs or whatever you want to call them. I want y'all to understand that this started in Chicago. It was a community thing, or it was you got different stories on what it was. It depends on your perspective and your perception. A lot of people perceive it like me. I perceive it to be a community thing because you had the Black Panthers around, you had the Black Muslims around, you had a lot of organizations around that was trying to protect the Black community. So I think, that was the origination, but a lot of people perceive it to be, they was gangs because they were fighting against each other, you know what I mean? They were fighting with bats and knives, you know what I mean? And then another perception is because you had the mob figures around, and this is Chicago, and that's a mob town. So it's kind of a mixture. It's kind of a mixture of things, if you can pick up what I'm putting down. You had the mobs around, so a lot of people think that was the origin of it. But at the end of the day, what Mr. Larry Hoover did as far as trying to change it from Gangster Disciple to growth and development, that was a beautiful thing. But I need y'all to think about, this started in Chicago and it spread all over the United States. All over the United States. That is a heavy burden to put on a man. And I know at one time it was more Gangster Disciples than anything in the United States while this man was locked up. And they was like everything, like it don't matter what city or town a person was in. If a dude or a female get in trouble and they represent the 6 Point Stock, or they represent Gangster Disciple, or they represent Mr. Larry Hoover, everything that they did, they blamed it on Larry Hoover. That's a hell of a responsibility for a black man to control. I really want y'all to think. I really need y'all to really think about that. You know what I mean? So again, comment what y'all thoughts, how y'all think if they free Mr. Larry Hoover, which I hope they do. I want y'all to comment y'all thoughts on how y'all think he's going to respond to being a leader of the Gangster Disciples or growth and development once he come home. I appreciate the support. My page is growing. It really not at the level that I want it to be. But you know, I'm not rushing it. It is what it is. I'm on here to share my experiences and share my stories. And then, you know, some people get alley hoops from other people, and that's why they page, you know, they get in the algorithm real fast, because you got other people who are already successful at it, and you know, they get them on their platform and they help them boost their page. But you know, I got to do it on my own. I mean, I've reached out to certain people who got a page similar to mine as far as telling prison stories and whatnot, but I got no response. So you know, it is what it is. I ain't tripping, cause that fuels my ambition when I have to start from the bottom and work my way up. Like that I love a challenge. I love to be challenged, and I love to say that if, you know, once I start something and I see it grow, like I love that about myself. Like everything I've touched, if it was challenging, I accepted the challenge and I excelled at it. Now, a lot of things I failed at, but for the most part, anything that I wanted to do, it got done. That's why I call my page @Done It All For Show. If I want to do it, and if I haven't done it and I want to do it, it will get done. So again, I appreciate everybody who rocking with me, everybody who comment, who share, who like, and we're gonna get there soon. So comment, like, share, do what you gotta do. If you don't want to do it, it's cool. I appreciate the view. It's your main man, Yasir. Until the next story, y'all be smooth out here.